For me, personally, I see queerness as something which is in between the conventional borders.
He watches sports for fun. That's not gay.
I think I would really condense it or think of it personally as being a sort of energy, I suppose, that sort of lives within every queer person and their experiences.
There's this really conflicting idea of everybody here is in a community and a family that should be really supportive of one another, but we also are in this unusual age of judgmental people within the community as well.
I think just because we are gay people and experience homophobia together as a community does not mean we have similar experiences in experiencing racism.
I think gays are kind of just honest. There's no sugarcoating.
I don't know that I entirely love the word queer because it feels so othering, but that's what I view queerness as. I think it's just not straight and cis.
I'd never been a part of anything that brought me so much joy, and in being who I am. I spent 57 years hiding.
I believe that sexual preference is just that, a preference. The same way you can prefer vanilla over chocolate. You can prefer the color blue over the color green.
A person who wrestles with homosexual temptations, desires,
is dispensable.
Look at the life of San Francisco's homosexuals. They number 90,000 at least, according to police department figures. They work to conceal their sexual orientation by day, and only at night do they show their true colors. The city's downtown Tenderloin district is the home ground of the always visible segment of the city's homosexuals and transvestites. The drag queens are here at Turk and Taylor. So frequent were the fights between screaming queens in the 2 to 3 a.m. period that police, even in promiscuous San Francisco.
Police raid led to a backlash that fueled the modern-day gay rights movement. CTM lead national correspondent, that's David Begnaud, is at the Stonewall Inn with the story of 2 men who witnessed that raid and the clashes that followed. David, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. It happened in 1969, and you know who did it? The NYPD's Public Morals Squad. That was the thing back then. They raided the bar, but gay bars were commonly raided during that time period. What happened that was different was as the patrons were kicked out onto the street, they started to fight back. They picked up everything they could on the street and just started
New Orleans' watering hole, was considered a safe haven for the city's gay community in 1973. At the time, being gay was seen as a sin, and the French Quarter Lounge was one of the few places where gay people could gather to unwind and grab a beer.
This is the body of Supervisor Harvey Milk as it was taken from City Hall. Witnesses say after killing the mayor, White ran down the hall and fired 3 shots at Milk, killing him. Milk had opposed the reappointment of White.
Rushed through the lounge.
In the total confusion after the shooting, the President of the Board of Supervisors, Dianne Feinstein, spoke.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
Fire trucks arrived a few minutes later. As flames poured through the second-floor windows like blowtorches into the night, according to one firefighter. Men could be seen struggling hopelessly against the security bars.
The supervisor's been
Only a few managed to squeeze.
This beautiful day started with trouble in Lower Manhattan. More than 100 people were arrested during a protest. Demonstrators were demanding more money in the war against AIDS.
I don't think so. I don't think
A relative discovered the murder victims Friday on this farmstead south of Humboldt. The victims were Tina Brandon of Lincoln, Philip Devine of Fairfield, Iowa, and Lisa Lambert of Humboldt. She lived at the farmhouse with her infant son, who was not harmed in the attack. The official briefing did not explain what could have sparked the slayings or what the other two victims were doing at Lisa Lambert's house. The county attorney did reveal one strange detail. Tina Brandon posed as a man named Brandon.
I found out that he was gay when he was still in the service. And it was never really a big deal. Surprisingly, even my dad didn't have any issues with it. And here's Scott showing off his muscles. You know, he was a soldier. He wasn't like a wimpy. If Jonathan Smith would have came after him
Shepard
without
was
it,
brutally attacked in 1998, tied to a fence and left to die,
something or just a
targeted
physical
because he was
confrontation,
gay.
Scott would have ripped his
Back
ass
then,
off.
his family quietly took his
A
ashes
candlelight
home,
march through
fearing any
Huntington
burial ground
Wednesday
in
to
Wyoming
remember
might be
Steve
vandalized.
Fenrich. A week ago, his stepfather, John Fenrich, held police at bay for 7 hours, then committed suicide after news that Steve Fenrich's skull was found in the Queen's Park
today in
involved
America,
with
being
homosexual
or
and
just
racial
seeming
remarks.
to be gay can be dangerous. A recent report showed a spike of 13% last year in violent crimes against people because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. The victim in the case we're about to show you was a lawyer who liked to practice as a released 5 people. But now defenders of the classmate who shot him say the killer was also Hugh.
Police say that they do have a suspect in custody this morning. They say it's too early to determine if this shooting was a hate crime.
I just wanna be rooted and grounded in thee. Lord, bless me. Lord Jesus, bless me. Yeah. I wanna be centered. Invite me.
she really took me seriously at first, but some months later, her and my father both realized that something was wrong or different about me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they went to the church and asked for guidance, and the church recommended conversion therapy. And then my childhood nightmare began for me for about a year. That involved having to kneel in front of the priest and recite Hail Marys and Our Fathers. He beat me with a wooden stick and a leather strap until I couldn't recite anymore or I fell over.
150,000 dead! 150,000 dead! 150,000 dead!
History will recall Reagan and Bush did nothing at all. History will recall Reagan and Bush did nothing at all. History will recall Reagan and Bush did nothing at all. George Bush, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. George Bush, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide.
A trans person is not going to attack you in the bathroom. If a man wanted to attack a woman that's using the restroom, he can just walk into the bathroom. He doesn't need to put on a dress and long hair to do it. There's something so toxic about looking at trans people like predators because we're more scared of you than you are of us at times. Yet the narrative is that it's all these people that are actually scared of us. I'm not trying to invade your space. I'm just trying to go to the back.
And we have to fight for our lives.
There's just a lot going on, and what really is calling me to chorus is this latest bill from Oklahoma that would ban gender-affirming care up until the age of 26. For years, we've been hearing from anti-trans pundits and politicians that this is about children, this is about protecting the children. But I think what this Oklahoma law reveals is that it's never been about the children. It's always been about scapegoating trans people, stigmatizing us, and criminalizing our existence.
Of freedom. And who the fuck are you anyway? Who the fuck are they? Who the fuck am I to say? What the fuck is really going on? How did a cat get so fat? Why does the family die? Do you care why? 'Cause there'd have been the same thing and better in the ghetto. People sped up, getting better. Point your fucking finger, you racist, you bigot, that's not the problem, now is it? It's all about the money, political power is taken. Protecting the rich, denying the poor. Yeah, they love to watch the world from the White House, and I wonder, how can they sleep at night? How can they sleep at night? How did the cat get so fat? How did the cat get so fat? How did the cat get so fat?
Look at the outside of this man. Look at his physical appearance. Look into this man's heart. Look into his soul. Now look more deeply.
I feel this emptiness inside me every time I look into the mirror. The impulse I want to do is just punch that mirror because I can see my fucking parents in the background just staring at me and doing nothing as I've gone through this my entire fucking life. And I want to scream, what the fuck is your problem? Where were you? Why did you leave me here?
Conversion therapy is a set of dangerous and totally discredited practices that attempt to change the sexual orientation or gender identity of a person. They are often practiced by licensed mental health professionals, also sometimes unlicensed counselors, religious leaders, sometimes just in church basements. And they most often target kids under 18. And these people give them what they claim is a solution. What it actually does is it supports an industry that is profiting off of the harm and sometimes death of kids. And to one degree or another, conversion therapy is happening in every state in the country.
Cross my heart and hope to die. I wish blood on my enemies. For any penance, I'm leaving out of this sentence. And it's not revenge if it evens out. The demon's out. I won't pretend I'm not screaming loud at the people now. I'm out the vodka, how I deal with insecurity. The purity is how I see abusers flinging moves at me. It takes me back to almost jumping off the ceiling while pumped on all the pills and almost lunging off the building. Mama keep telling me to ask the Lord for forgiveness. I want war with these bitches. I want corpses and weapons in the morgue. I'm the story that Dr. Crowley envisioned. I want horrible things if there's no recourse for my sin. The caution to win. I show no remorse in the end. I'm not for amends. I'm cautious from the awful events. It's awful again. But this time before I do it, I clean my fucking room so when they find me, I'll be.
It's legal to fire someone for being gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgendered. That is legal to remove someone from their home because they're gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgendered. Then you realize that this whole conversation about marriage equality, it's not about stripping someone's rights away. It's about granting them the rights that have already been stated. And we're just trying to walk in those rights that have already been stated, that we've already agreed upon. There are people living in fear of losing their jobs, so they don't show anyone who they really are. This story just keeps playing over and over and over again in our country's history. There was a time in which, I don't know, people who were black couldn't have the same rights. People who happened to be women didn't have the same rights, couldn't vote. There was a point in our history in which if you were considered disabled, that an employer could just fire you before the Americans with Disabilities Act. We keep doing this over and over again. And so here we are, 2012, gay agenda, gay lifestyle, and I'm not a good dad, and people don't deserve to be able to protect their families because of what they are, not who they are. So when you hear the words gay lifestyle and gay agenda in the future, I encourage you to do two things. One, remember the US Constitution. And then two, if you wouldn't mind looking to your left, please. Look to your right. That person next to you is a brother, is a sister. And they should be treated with love and respect.
It's too rough around here to hold hands with you, my dear.
years. The length by which life expectancy is shortened for gay, lesbian, and bisexual people in highly anti-gay communities compared to accepting communities. 12 years reduced life expectancy. When I read that in The Advocate magazine this year, I realized I could no longer afford to keep silent. The effects of personal stress and social stigmas are a deadly combination. The study found that gays and anti-gay communities had higher rates of heart disease, violence, and suicide. What I once thought was simply a personal matter, I realized had a ripple effect that went into the workplace and out into the community for every story just like mine. My choice to hide and not share who I really am may have inadvertently contributed to this exact same environment and atmosphere of discrimination. I'd always told myself there was no reason to share that I was gay. But the idea that my silence has social consequences was really driven home this year when I missed an opportunity to change the atmosphere of discrimination in my own home state of Kansas. In February, the Kansas House of Representatives brought up a bill for vote that would have essentially allowed businesses to use religious freedom as a reason to deny gays services. A former coworker and friend of mine has a father that serves in the Kansas House of Representatives. He voted in favor of the bill, in favor of a law that would allow businesses to not serve me. How does my friend feel about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning people? How does her father feel? I don't know, because I was never honest with them about who I am. And that shakes me to the core. What if I had told her my story years ago? Could she have told her father my experience? Could I have ultimately helped change his vote? I will never know. And that made me realize I had done nothing to try and make a difference.
No, your mom don't get it, and your dad don't get it, Uncle John don't get it. And you can't tell Grandma 'cause her heart can't take it, and she might not make it. They say don't dare, don't you even go there, cutting off your long hair, you do as you're told. Till you wake up, go put on your makeup, this is just a phase you're gonna outgrow. Something wrong in the village, the village. Whoa, they stare in the village, the village. Whoa, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, the village. There's something wrong with the village. Feel the rumors follow you from Monday all the way to Friday dinner. You got one day shelter, then it's Sunday hell to pay, you young lost sinner. Well, I've been there sitting in that same chair, whispering that same prayer 500,000 times. It's a lie though, burying disciples. One page of the Bible isn't worth a life. There's something wrong in the village, the village. Whoa, they stare in the village, the village. Whoa, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, the village. There's something wrong with the village. Whoa, no, no. Something wrong in the village, the village. Whoa, they stare in the village, the village. Whoa, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, the village. There's something wrong with the village. Whoa, no, 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 no.
Angeles Supervisor Harvey Milk.
My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you. I'm tired of listening to the Anita Bryans twist the language of the Bible to fit their own distorted outlook. But I'm even more tired of the religious leaders of this nation who know it and remain silent. I'm tired of their silence. And I'm tired of the John Briggs talking and lying about false role models. He's lying in his teeth and he knows it. Anita Bryant and John Briggs' unwillingness, their unwillingness to talk about heterosexual violence, their unwillingness to look into their own house. For if the John Briggses win, they will not stop. They are mad, and the Hitler types must continue to prove that they were right. They don't stop. You must remember that gay doctors, any gay person who has any kind of license is in danger, and the Holocaust will begin. Gay people all across the state. The Briggs can only be defeated if each and every one of you comes out to everyone you know. You must. And finally, join me in this message. Jimmy Carter, listen to us. You want to lead? You want to be the world's leader in human rights? Well, damn it, lead! There are 15 million lesbians and gay men waiting to hear your voice. We are coming out of the closet. When are you going to come out of yours?
When I'm weary and so worn out, and my mind's clouded and filled with doubt, that's when I feel the most alive. Masochistic kisses are how I thrive. A stiffness inside my neck and banging my head against the desk. Well, if there's no pain, is there any progress? That's when I feel the most alive. Endurance is the source of my pride. Might not be healthy for me, but seemingly I need. What gets me, cut me, cut me. Guess I'm a true immigrant son.
No vacancies, no vacations. Sure, I could do better than this, but I don't, I won't, I don't. Might not be healthy for me, but seemingly I need. What cuts me, cuts me, cuts me, cut me, cut me, cut me.
I went for years thinking I was the only one because I didn't know it was gay. All I knew is that sometimes I would see a guy and say, damn, he look nice. I like the way that suit fit him.
It took many years for me to come out because I had gotten married. But all along, I always knew that I'd be completely happy if I were with a woman.
We went through all these different titles, dyke, butch, this, that, and the other. We were trying to make a statement. We were trying to be recognized. We were out there, being rambunctious, being wild. We wanted to prove our point. We're here. We wanted to leave our mark.
People used to say, oh, this faggot or this queer or this homo. It's changed so much.
I always felt like I had two lives, that straight life for close to 30 years, and then this life. And it's just comfortable. I just feel completed where I want to be, and I just love it.
You are never alone, no matter what you like. And I didn't realize until I got to New York, and I didn't believe there was all these gay men in the bars, gay bars and everything. I said, oh my gracious, so I'm not by myself, I'm not crazy.
One of my favorite things about being part of the LGBTQ community is that people are so loving and accepting. Everyone has a story to tell.
Live your lifestyle to the fullest. And be happy. When I say, hey, the more experience, the better, you know what I mean? That's why. Go for it. Be careful, but go for it.
I advise people to go, young people to go along with your feelings and not be afraid.
Don't put yourself down.
Don't be ashamed of anything you want to do. Always be proud of who you are, what you are. Now, I'm proud of being an LGBT bisexual person. So I like me. And when I like me, other people like me too, I found that.
People know I don't care, so that's such a big turnaround from when I was a young girl. When they stare at me, I just look back and I have a smile on my face, because it really doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, I just like to see people enjoy life.
Try so hard, but I can't shake it. Ooh, no. Ooh, no. I can't shake the memory, I can't fake it. Ooh, you remind me of something. Something that I used to feel myself. Something that I used to feel like a heartbeat racing, like a new beginning. You remind me of something else. Something that I used to feel, something like what I've been missing. Something to come and rescue me. Give me a reason. Yes. And now I'm trying so hard. racing like a new beginning. You remind me of something else, something that I used to feel, something like what I've been missing. Oh, like what I've been missing. Oh, something like what I've been missing. Oh, so long I didn't know the difference. Ooh, till you came around to remind me of what I've been missing.
It's like a dream come true. RuPaul's doing my makeup.
See, look into the camera there. Yeah, you see.
Oh yeah, the shine's gone.
Yeah, the shine is gone.
I love that the message is, to leave judgment behind, and that's kind of what I got as a reader. So when did you kind of decide to stop giving about what people thought?
Well, it's very important. If you want to navigate this life, it's important to lighten your load. And, worrying about what other people have to say takes a lot of energy. I remember turning 30, and it really dawned on me that not only do I not have to like everyone doesn't have to like me. And being fine with that is such a revelation.
If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. I ain't got time for yesterday's news. Don't shoot me up with your bullshit blues. If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. If you don't want a piece of the action, baby, take a walk. If you don't want a piece of the action, baby, take a walk. I don't like it when you play with my knees. You ain't nothing but a prick tease. If you don't want a piece of the action, baby, take a walk. There's a door, why don't you hurry? Get out! Think that you're hot shit, I heard. You ain't nothing but a cold turd. If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. One, two, three, four. If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. If you don't wanna fuck me, baby, fuck off. 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 Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, baby. In other words, if you ain't got time to take a walk with me on my meat rack, then you can just get the hell out of my bread line.
I grew up around Caribbean and West Indian, so I get it.
It comes from the whole West India, all of that. It comes from our ancestors,
right?
But like, there's a style of mapuka, which is from West India, Africa, and similar dances. It just like came through the ancestor line, and
we're talking about twerking and busting it wide open and gyrating. Now, did you have a show canceled in Mississippi because of it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, a bunch of bull.
Wow. Now, I think anybody that can dance like that, it's a form of art.
It is.
Because I can't. And I'm hoping by the end of this interview, you can kind of give me some tips a little bit.
Yes.
But
I got you.
It's an art form, Frida. But when does it cross the line between an art form and objectivity?
I don't think it can cross. It crosses that line if you know, I would say it's just too overrated and, you know, where you're trying to seduce somebody. But if you're dancing and having fun, it's a culture, and this is what we do.
You never tried to seduce somebody?
Well, I mean...
With that dancing?
I seduce people all the time with my dancing, but in a certain way where it's for fun and not for sex or pleasure like that.
Right.
It's for entertainment.
Why do you guys call yourselves sissies?
I don't call myself sissies.
Okay.
They have a few people that do, and that's their choice.
Because
I'm a queen.
Growing up,
I'm the queen.
It was derogatory.
Right, definitely.
But in the book, you constantly refer to other gay males as sissy.
And that's what they, you know, usually call themselves.
Like RuPaul has a song, Sissy That Walk.
Well, now,
you know.
now we have embraced it. We have flipped it. We have took it and made it our word.
Like the N-word.
Yeah.
Got it.
We took it and made it our word instead of everybody using it in a derogatory form.
Right.
We have took it and spent it and made it a fun word, which it should be.
Yeah.
It sounds fun. Sissy.
Let me ride, ride, let me ride, let me ride your face. 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 I'm just a little nasty. Let me ride your face. All night if you let me. Let me ride your face. All night if you let me. Let me ride your face. Let me ride your face. Let's go. I'm not a freak, I'm just a little nasty. I fuck a boy real good. Have you yelling out ninth wall, my hood. I fuck a boy real good. Have him yelling out third wall, my hood. I fuck a boy real good. Have him yelling out Upperville, my hood. I fuck a boy real good. Have him yelling out St. Bernard, my hood. I hate snakes, I love meals. Addicted I can feel. So come on, boy, what's the deal? I hate snakes, I love meals. Addicted I can feel. So come on, boy, what's the deal? Now put your back in it, back in it. Now put your back in it, now put your back in it, back in it. Now put your back in it, back in it, back in it. Now put your back in it, back in it. Now put your back in it, put your back in it. With your legs spread wide, make them ass cheeks spike. Now put your back in it, back in it. Now put your back in it. I'm not a freak, I'm just a little nasty. Let me ride your face. Let me ride your face. Let me ride your face. I'm just a little nasty. Let me ride your face. All night if you let me. Let me ride your face. All night if you let me. Let me ride your face. Let me ride your face. Let's go. I'm not a freak, I'm just a little nasty.
It's been influential in our pop culture for the last probably 30, 40 years. We've been at the cusp and just behind every movement that's happened. From our pop stars to the way we've dressed, to the way we've danced, to the way we talk. We've been in every infiltrated part there. But we've been there just enough that we were not noticed. Our invisibility became a factor for us. When I first started in ballroom wasn't something that you bragged and talked about. It wasn't until probably the last 15 years that people appreciated who we were. And then we find out in recent years that people who are a part of the house and ballroom scene has become the influencers of pop culture. We are the cuffs of what we do. When we say certain phrases are followed, we hear it on television. When we dress certain ways, people talk to us about it. What matters for this here is that we've sometimes overlooked this population, and when populations are overlooked, they develop their own systems. And so now as we're developing our own system, these systems are kind of colliding, and it's time for our voices to be heard. So now here's the thing that I know you all know about. It's voguing, right? But this you didn't know it came from us. No? What you thought Madonna did it in 1993? And that's where it popped out? No. Voguing became our art form that we were allowed to exist in mainstream. And it became the way we expressed ourselves and our talents. And it became the way we created our dance moves. So voguing came from the house and ballroom film in 1971, but we just never got credit for it probably until 2018. So one thing about voguing that expresses our culture and allows us to exist is that once we know that language allows a culture to exist, it was a language of voguing. The movements tell a story, whether it was your struggle or your invisibility, and also the movements tell where you came from or what region you were in.
I believe you can do it. Release your mind, release your job, release the time, release your stream, release the stress, release your mind. You can do it. Release, repressed, suppressed, regressed, redirect all that anger. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'm built for this. I can take it. I can take it. You can do it. I just fell in love. I just quit my job. I'm gonna find no drive. Damn, they work me so damn hard. Work by 9, then off past 5. And they work my nerves. That's why I cannot sleep at night. Motivate me. New foundation, yeah. Thank you. And I'm on that new vibration. Just keep speaking my name. Building my own foundation, yeah. Holla. Oh, baby, you won't break my soul. 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 I'm telling everybody, everybody. I'm built for this. Take off the slow. Take off the slow. I'm gonna let down my hair, 'cause I lost my mind. B is back and I'm sleeping real good at night. Queens in the front and the doms in the back. Ain't taking no flicks, but the whole click snap. There's a whole lot of people in the house trying to smoke with a yak in your mouth. And we back outside. You said you outside, but you ain't that outside. Worldwide hoodie with the mask outside. In case you forgot how we act outside. Love, die, hater. Queen Mother, Madonna, Aliyah. Rosetta Tharpe, Santi Gold, Bessie Smith, Nina Simone, Betty Davis, Solange Knowles, Batu, Lizzo, Kelly Roll, Lauryn Hill, Roberta Flack, Tony, Janet, Tierra Whack, Missy, Diana, Grace Jones, Aretha, Anita, Grace Jones, Helen Folasha, Day Adu, Jilly from Philly, I love you, boo. Don't just stand there, get into it. Strike a pose, there's nothing to it. Vogue. Mother of the house. Michelle, Chloe, Halle, Aaliyah, Alicia, Whitney, Riri, House of Extravaganza, House of Revlon, House of La Beja, House of Amazon, the House of Aviance, House of Balmain, the House of Ninja, the House of Lanvin, House of Telfar, House of La Doja, House of Mugler, the House of Balenciaga, the House of Mizrahi. circles. We go round in circles. We go up and down, searching for love. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul, and I'm telling everybody, 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 everybody. I'm telling you, new salvation. I'm taking my new salvation, and I'ma build my own foundation.
Let's say you're on the campaign trail and you're
I have been.
approached. You have been, yes. And a supporter approaches you and says, Senator, I'm old-fashioned, and my faith teaches me that marriage is between one man and one woman. What is your response?
Well, I'm going to assume it's a guy who said that. And I'm going to say, then just marry one woman. I'm cool with that. Assuming you can find one.
The Respect for Marriage Act takes key steps to uphold marriage equality under federal law. This is what we're celebrating. Tearing down the Defense of Marriage Law, taking off the books for good. Enshrining married couples' right to equal protection, requiring that every state recognize all valid marriages out of state as long as it is recognized in the state of their marriage. On this vote, the yeas are 258, the nays are 169, present 1. The motion is adopted. I was emotional.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Bonato, lawyer, gay and lesbian advocates and defenders. I argued question 1, and I want to say today was a momentous decision, and it is going to bring joy to millions of families, gay and straight, across this land. And now, every person in this country who's LGBT realizes they can marry tomorrow. They can marry someday the person they love and make that unique commitment and take on that unique responsibility, just as Kennedy talked about this morning, that is marriage. It is also a great thing for kids who no longer have to question why their parents were deemed unworthy of marriage, and those kids can also have the same security and protections that marriage provides to families. This is also a great day for our Constitution. Make no mistake about it. Today, the court stood by a principle in this nation that we do not tolerate laws that disadvantage people because of who they are. So it is a day for equality, for liberty, and for justice under law. And as I say that, of course, there are thousands of people gathered together mourning in Charleston because it is still true in our nation that people sometimes are targeted and face unspeakable acts of violence because of who they are. So as we celebrate what is a landmark ruling for love and for justice, let us also rededicate ourselves to ensuring that every person in this nation can live safely and securely and have the freedoms and opportunities our Constitution promises us. We need to do this for each other, and we owe this to future generations. And I thank everyone who's helped make this day possible. Millions of people, the plaintiffs, the lawyers, everyone. Thank you.
This is truly a great day for all Americans. The court stressed in its opinion that marriage is fundamental. Marriage is fundamental to couples. It's fundamental to the families they build around their marriages. It is fundamental to society. It's hard to believe that just less than 2 decades ago, gay and lesbian individuals faced the possibility of being jailed simply because of the person they love. Today, the Supreme Court validates the full equality under law of all gay, lesbian, transgendered individuals and the person they love, and that they are entitled to the full measure of equality and dignity that the Constitution promises. And by protecting the rights of gays and lesbians, the court has protected the rights of all Americans, because those rights that are fundamental should never depend on being able to persuade a majority that they should be tolerated. That is in fact the nature of being rights. But this victory did not come just by happenstance. It was the product of many decades of hard labor by many, many people, led certainly by my colleague Mary Bonato, who has been a leader in this movement for decades. It took the bravery of the plaintiffs willing to stand up and insist on their rights. And it took many, many organizations, the collective efforts of which have today realized this momentous decision that we can all celebrate. Thank you very much.
I was 18 months old when the foster care system placed me in an upscale home in New York City's Queens neighborhood. It had all the marks of wealth, prestige, and affluence. I was placed in a home where the arms of loving parents, private schools, and weekends at the shore should have awaited me. Instead, I came face to face with unspeakable acts of abuse, shaming, slapping, neglect, and more. I struggled to fit in with other children at school. I was different, and I had more than one secret to keep. One fateful day at the age of 14, I disclosed to my foster parent I was not like the other boys. I was transgender. My foster mother's response was to kick me out of the home to save the other children from what she calls the devil's creation. I became one more nameless throwaway, one more statistic to add to the growing 2.5 million homeless LGBT youth in America. For me, it wasn't easy undergoing gender transition as a freshman while secretly being homeless and living on New York City subways. I didn't have support. I didn't have anyone. When I then went on to high school, I understood that the only thing that would be tangible in my life would be my education. But see, for me at 14, it's not what it looked like for the average youth. It wasn't taking my clothes out. It wasn't making sure that my mom or dad would check my homework and say, "You're doing a great job." Instead, it was walking just about a mile up and down Christopher Street in hope to get clientele, to get a meal, and transportation money to even get to school. That's the reality that many LGBT youth are facing in this country. It's the very reality that many days I woke up saying to myself, what did you do to deserve this? I'm human like everyone else. I don't deserve pain. I don't deserve trauma. Why couldn't I have gotten the mom that would love me? But then I realized at a transformative moment in my life that it was not about who was willing to accept me. Was I willing to accept myself? And was I going to accept myself in the way that my peers told me not to? Because see, my journey began wrapping t-shirts on my head because I couldn't afford expensive wigs. And because that was my truth, I was ridiculed and physically attacked by the guys and girls in my school. And so after leaving, I said to myself, I'm so sorry. But I said to myself that you can't give up because you're going to give up in ways that I can see could be very easy to. It's not easy to walk in your truth. It's not easy to be different because my different is the kind of different that people feel they have the right to tell you that you do not deserve to live. See, my struggle was gender transition, getting through high school, but the average transgender youth struggle is what does safety look like? What does my family look like? Because they rebut me, I rebuttal myself. See, now I know you're seeing me here and you're saying, well, something had to get better. At some point in your life, you chose not only not to give up, but to thrive, to be the best person you can be. And it started at Christopher Street Pier. I looked to the water, and it was the water that liberated me. It was the water that I could envision privilege, happiness, and success. I seen my struggles pass me by. And as they passed me by, I was reminded of the people that had no clue what people like myself were going through. And so today, I want you to know that when you see me, I am not what transgender look like. I'm just a courageous person who dares to be different. The very different that we all are here today. The very different that we are reminded of every single day when we walk out of our home and see other people's reality. After graduating high school and going on to Rochester, New York, I then started my own foundation, Gender Global. After starting Gender Global, I have a national ambassadorship with the Human Rights Campaign. After the national ambassadorship with the Human Rights Campaign, I then got one of the most amazing news I could have ever gotten in my life, that we had won the Emmy Award for the T-Word documentary. And when you see me crying and you see me shaken up right now, it's because I know how many of my sisters will never make it here. How many of them has lost their lives. And so right when this sounds like it gets better, we cannot forget about the road in front of us. I'm not asking for this to be a sad story. I'm asking you to see someone standing here in their pain, in their truth, and ask yourself, what can you do? And when you say, what can I do? It's joining the revolution of loving and accepting someone different. Because different is the new frontier. And if you can't do it for me, do it for the people who's dying. In August 2015, 3 transgender women of color were reported murdered in one day. Many reports come in every single month. One of our main battlegrounds is to exist in a world where everyone says you're trying to be someone you're not. And the only thing you're doing is living as yourself. I need it, they need it, we need the love, we need the liberation, we need the support, not only for the 2.5 million homeless LGBT youth, but for the 41% of transgender people that attempt suicide. For the ever-growing numbers of not just murder, but of the families rejecting what may be the most amazing thing in your family, which is the catalyst to different. It's not living in the norms, it's breaking them. And so I say, will you join it? Do you want to join it? Thank you. Thank you.